Hi, welcome to this week's episode of High School Counseling Conversations. I'm your host, Lauren, and we are sitting down to listen to another episode. You are sitting down to listen. I'm sitting down to record another episode to gear us up for the start of the school year. So I don't know if you are already started, if you are anticipating students right now, or kind of where you are in the game. You might be right before students are coming back if you're in those northern states who start back after Labor Day. If that's you, Godspeed. I wish you well. I hope you get a lot of rest before those students come barreling in your door. And maybe if you are in the South like me, your students have been in school for almost a month now, which is crazy. So I know the beginning of the year is hectic, and we are going to be talking about how to set up a high school counseling curriculum map because I want you to win at this year. And I am certain that a high school counseling curriculum map will be the thing that sets you up for success this year. It's going to be that planning tool that really helps you achieve some things even before the year starts out, helps you set some goals, and we're really going to get into all the benefits of having a curriculum map set up to run your year off of. So before we get into that, I just wanted to wish you well for the start of the school year. I wanted to let you know that this episode, I hope, is going to be a great kickoff point for the start of the year. If you haven't listened to my podcast yet to help you kickstart the year, I have a 3-episode how-to podcast that I think will get you really in the right mindset to start the school year. It's 3 episodes and they're giving you really concrete, applicable tips if you are a high school counselor getting ready to start the year. I think it's perfect if you're a brand new high school counselor, but it's also awesome even if you are a returning veteran high school counselor. So I'll link that in the show notes, or I'll tell you too. It's counselorclick.com/privatepod. And that is how to kickstart your year as a high school counselor. So head on over and get that if you want some more podcast listening stuff. Right now, we're going to get into this week's episode to help you build a high school counseling curriculum map and really tell you how to do it and why you should do it so that you can find success this school year. Let's get into this week's episode.
You got into this profession to make a difference in your students' lives, but you're spread thin by all of the things that keep getting added to your to-do list. I can't create more hours in the day, but I can invite you into my Counselor Click where you'll finally catch your breath. Come with me as we unpack creative ideas and effective strategies that'll help you be the counselor who leaves a lifelong impact on your students. I'm Lauren Tingle, your high school counseling hype girl, here to help you energize your school counseling program and remind you of how much you love your job.
So I'm going to lay out a few points here and tell you why I think that you should use a curriculum map to plan out your year. Now, I think I'm going to tell you the why, and then you're going to leave saying, okay, I'm ready to do this. That would be my hope, that I can convince you that this is the right way to plan your year. So first things first, a curriculum map, if you don't know what I'm even talking about, it's really a visual for your planning purposes. So the one that I have created that I use would be at the top. It has dates for the whole year, and you can scroll left to right and see those dates. And then top to bottom, I set up the grade levels that we're doing things with. So 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. I even have some things in there like a section for bulletin boards. And I wish you could get a visual with me, but that's really hard to do on a podcast. So you're just going to have to envision it with me. This is called a Gantt chart. I had never heard of this before. I'm just not in the world of organization and human organization and human development and, that kind of stuff that someone from up above is handing down to all their employees. It's we're just trying to be organized enough to make things work and make things function and not have everything catch on fire, right? So I had never really heard of a Gantt chart before. I'm not organizationally minded like some of you probably are, and maybe you've heard of these before. But it's basically like this map that can scroll left and right and up and down, keep things organized and keep things really visual. So I think that the right planning map, which this is a good one, helps you identify gaps in your program and then gets you thinking and moving in the right direction so that you can set goals to better reach your students. When you have a visual map, you'll be able to see where those gaps are. Like you don't do any small groups right now. You do only classroom lessons with 9th and 10th grade and they drop off for 11th and 12th grade and they don't get that done. You can look at your tier 1, 2, and 3 programming. Like, how are you reaching all students? How are you reaching some students? Like, picture that triangle. And then how many students are getting tier 3 interventions where it's not for everybody, but it's for some people? Are we reaching all students with tier 1, 2, and 3? If we're not, how can we plug those in and make them happen? So with the right planning map, we can see those gaps, we can meet those gaps, and we can set goals to better our program and better serve our students. I love thinking about using a curriculum map for planning for the year because though it feels daunting to plan for an entire year, using your energy to batch plan takes all of your brain cells and directs them at something that usually requires a lot of energy, but has you do that all at once. So I have very limited brain cells right now, I feel like. And if my brain cells are scattering, firing, trying to do 100 things at once and stopping and starting things, it's like I never get them done. I've been joking lately that I feel like my executive functioning just is not working very well. And I mean, I'm joking, but maybe there's very well truth behind that. It's hard to finish a sentence. It's hard to finish a project. I don't know where I'm going when I end up in a room. Like, why am I here? Why am I here? I have a lot of energy, things going on in different directions. But if you can take your energy, your thoughts, and your limited brain cells and put them all in one place at one time, you're not going to be going back and forth between different tasks. You're actually going to get some stuff done. Now, I know your time is very limited all year round, but it's also very limited at the very start of the school year. You've got schedule changes. You've got kids and parents coming to interrupt you. You've got teachers dropping in telling you that their classes are too big or no one showed up for this class. I don't know. I can't even make up every scenario that you're dealing with right now as a high school counselor at the beginning of the school year. But I would encourage you to take a chunk of your day or a chunk of your evening and batch plan for as much as you can for this school year. You can always adapt or change what the plan is, especially after you've done a needs assessment. But there is something about sitting down and giving yourself a rough idea of what this month or this semester or this year will look like that is going to set you up for success.
The Click Collaborative is a membership for high school counselors designed to equip, encourage, and connect counselors to their greater community. With a professional development-driven mindset, the membership hub comes loaded with 25-plus instantly accessible PD videos, completion certificates, and bonus features like templates, checklists, and counseling resources. But the best part isn't the features. It's the changes you'll see in your confidence and your counseling program. Inside, you'll find worthwhile, practical, and applicable PD that propels you to action in a community full of your people where you can grow, connect, and feel validated. Does this sound like the support you've been looking for? If so, I want to invite you to check out the Click Collaborative at clickcollab.com.
Once you have this down on paper or have it on like a digital calendar of sorts, you're going to have a fire of accountability lit under you. It makes you admit out loud that you might actually have some dreams for your program, like the first ever career fair at your school, or a mental health awareness day that you've always dreamed of doing but you've never done before. Or maybe you want to have an alumni panel for your underclassmen. I don't know what those dreams are for you. You know what those dreams are for you. But let's admit them. Let's put them down on some paper, or when I say paper, I could say pen and paper, or I could say like a digital version, which is really what I'm talking about. A curriculum map forces you to start somewhere. You might be pulling from nothing. Maybe you're brand new and you don't know what they did last year. Or maybe you have been here before, but it's just been so scattered and you've pieced everything together at the last minute, flying by the seat of your pants. I get it. There are a lot of years like that. But at least when you sit down to map this out, you are picking a starting point. No one ever got to where they wanted to go by just standing still. I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the first person who said that. Maybe someone famous said that. You didn't just show up somewhere and the goal was met. You probably say the same thing to your students. They want to graduate, but they're not doing anything to get there. They tell you they want to be a YouTuber, but they don't even have a YouTube channel. They want to play professional sports, but they don't even play high school sports. Like, we have to take steps to get to where we want to go. If we want to have a program that's recognized by administrators or even just a role in the school that recognizes us as leaders and as people who care about students and know what we're doing, we have to care about students and know what we're doing. Let's put something down on paper and start taking steps in that direction. My high school counseling curriculum map also lets you break down and filter job responsibilities for different counselors. So I have a tab on there that divides things up by different times of the year. So, when you're doing your job and you're like, wait, what was I supposed to do this quarter? Or what am I doing this month? I give you sample tasks that might be what you're doing in your school, but you can edit those. A lot of responsibilities can slip through the cracks if we're only doing them once a year or once a quarter. And that can be really stressful. If you put that all down on a curriculum map or have just some sort of tab to be able to filter responsibilities by times of the year or who is responsible for it, then this curriculum map is going to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. And isn't that the dream? We want to go to bed not worried that we're going to forget something that is important and necessary for our students. So what else is in my high school counseling curriculum map? I told you it's got the responsibilities chart. I have the thing that's called a Gantt chart, so I kind of set that up for you visually. I love what it does. You can move it left and right, up and down, and I have kind of laid out what I think would be kind of an example of a curriculum map, but this is completely editable. I also have it in like a templated version right on the next tab where nothing is filled in and you can fill it all in yourself. But I have it color-coded by classroom lesson, small group lesson, SEL, college and career. You kind of break it down by however you want. But I think having this visual of the curriculum map for the whole year helps you see, like I mentioned before, where those gaps are. It also helps you notice if you're doing too much with 9th grade and not enough with 10th grade, because that happens sometimes. It helps you see where you're spreading yourself too thin, or maybe where you could add something else because you don't have a lot of programming going on. When I scroll through that curriculum map, I love being able to picture where my energy level is at that time of the year and what I have energy for and who I need to be focusing on. And then once that map is done, the great thing is you can share it with others. You can show this to your administrators or even teachers or parents who need to know what's going on or who feel like they're at that level where they need to know what's going on and how we're getting to our goals. I especially think that's true with an administrator who's maybe over your department or who just needs to know what you do as a school counselor. I think it's more common for teachers to have that curriculum map, and it gives us just this level of validity to have something behind our name that shows, hey, we are doing just as much as teachers, if not more. What we're doing is valid. Look, I have a plan for the year. And like I said, even if you map it out roughly and then you take your sample needs assessment that I gave you or just a needs assessment that you're already doing in your building, you take those results and you kind of tweak it and fill that back in. You're not going to be starting over from square one after you have those needs assessments results. So start with something, get it down on paper. If you are listening to this and you're thinking, cool, a high school counseling curriculum app sounds awesome. Where do I start? How do I get this, or how do I make this? Well, this podcast episode is really pre-work. You have listened to the pre-work for the live workshop that I'm going to host in a couple of weeks. I want this episode to set you up for success just by telling you, hey, you can do a curriculum map. I want you to listen to this and say, I want to make a curriculum map for my program, and I want a roadmap for my year. I want to move the needle in my school counseling program and be a little more organized, a little more intentional about what I'm doing for students. So if you hear all of this and you are thinking, hey, give me that planning map. Well, boy, do I have an annual curriculum map for you. In similar style of my PD membership, the Click Collaborative, I don't just want to give you the fishing pole to fish. I want to teach you how to fish. So what if we sat down together for 1 hour and worked on this planning map together? I'm thinking a live workshop that I'm going to call the Power Hour Planning Party, because you know it's going to be fun. We're going to have live raffles and just incentives for you joining us live. I want you to be able to ask your questions, troubleshoot your roadblocks, fill in your curriculum map. I also want to give you some pre-work ahead of time to help you be a little more effective and have that time go a little more smoothly than if you just showed up with nothing in your hands. So as soon as you sign up for this live paid workshop, you're going to get a sample editable needs assessment and some pre-work if you want to do that ahead of time. Now, you don't have to, but I'm going to give you the resources to do a little bit of planning before you get there so you can hit the ground running when we show up live. We'll take 1 hour and we'll chart out a plan for the year. Won't that feel good? Everyone's is going to be a little bit different from their neighbors, but it'll be nice to get something down on paper and then run yours by other people. Ask what they're doing, take their suggestions, and get their feedback. So will you join me for the Power Hour planning party? Go to counselorclick.com/planning party and check it out. It costs $37 and it'll be held live so that we can get stuff done. So as soon as you say, I'm in, you'll automatically get your confirmation email with the highly coveted editable annual curriculum map and the sample editable needs assessment. Go to counselorclick.com/planning party and sign up to join us live for an hour on Sunday, September 8th in the evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll go for 1 hour and it'll be recorded in case something comes up for you. But I wholeheartedly encourage you to come live so you can work on it and get the results. You'll have it done by the time that the hour is over. Go to counselorclick.com/planning party, sign up for the live paid workshop, and automatically get that curriculum map and that editable needs assessment right to your inbox, and then you'll get your next steps. I can't wait to see you there.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of High School Counseling Conversations. All the links I talked about today can be found in the show notes and also at counselorclick.com/podcast. Be sure to hit follow wherever you listen to your podcast so that you never miss a new episode. Connect with me over on Instagram. Feel free to send me a DM at counselorclick. That's CLIQUE. I'll see you next week.